If the word alimony just made your stomach drop, you are not alone. Maybe you're scared you'll be writing a check for the rest of your life. Maybe you're scared you won't get enough to land you on your feet. Here's the truth. Alimony in Massachusetts is far more structured and predictable than most people think. So by the end of this, you'll actually understand how it works. In this video, you'll learn what alimony actually is, the 4 types that Massachusetts recognizes, how the amount gets set, and how long it really lasts. So alimony is court-ordered support, spousal support, that one spouse pays the other after a divorce. It is separate from child support. Alimony supports a spouse. Child support supports a child. And the two are calculated differently. Alimony is not a punishment, and it's not automatic. A judge can order it when one spouse has the ability to pay and the other has demonstrated a need for support. So those are the 2 prongs that have to be satisfied. There has to be an ability to pay child support by the payor, and there has to be a need, a demonstrated need by the recipient to receive alimony. Who filed for divorce doesn't matter. Either spouse can be ordered to pay depending on the financial picture. It's also totally separate from the division of assets. The marital home, retirement accounts, other property like that gets divided under a different part of the law. Alimony is strictly about ongoing income support. Money paid from one spouse's earnings to help the other maintain their standard of living after the marriage ends. So, for example, you sat across from your attorney and the first number she mentioned was $2,400 a month. And your whole body went cold. You assumed that that number was permanent, that it followed you forever. It didn't. In Massachusetts, alimony is tied to a formula based on the income gap and the length of your marriage. The number that scared you had a ceiling and an end date. You just didn't know it yet. I'm attorney Lindsey Egan, the owner and founder of Poppy Legal Group. I help families all across Massachusetts navigate divorce and the financial decisions that come with it. And I've walked many people through this exact fear. I post new videos to keep you informed on family law and estate planning in Massachusetts. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing so you never miss one. Before we go further, this video is general legal information, not legal advice. Every situation is different, including yours. And if you're going through this, please speak with a family law attorney about your specific case. Are there different types of alimony in Massachusetts? You betcha. Massachusetts recognizes 4 types: general term alimony, rehabilitative alimony, reimbursement, and transitional. The type that applies to your case controls how long support may last and whether it can ever be changed. General term alimony, I think this is probably the most common one, is the ongoing support that most people picture, and it's tied to the length of your marriage. Rehabilitative alimony is short-term help while one of the spouses gets on their feet, finishing a degree maybe, completing some sort of training, re-entering the workforce. It's like a short-term little boost. And it's capped at 5 years under Massachusetts law. Reimbursement alimony is narrower. It actually repays a spouse who financially supported the other through something like school during a short marriage of 5 years or less, maybe. And because it's a repayment, it can't be modified later. Transitional alimony, also typically for marriages of 5 years or less, helps a spouse adjust to maybe a new home or a new life after divorce and is usually capped at 3 years. So most cases that involve alimony involve general term alimony, the first one I talked about. So if you remember one out of these 4, I would say probably remember the first one. Okay, so You haven't earned a paycheck since 2007. You raised 3 kids while his salary climbed to 6 figures or over. And when the marriage ended after 19 years, you were sure you'd walk away with, well, nothing. But 19 years and that income gap puts you squarely in general term alimony, the exact type built for the spouse who gave up a career for their family. The kind of alimony you get isn't about whose name was on the paycheck. It's really about the life that you built. So, how is it decided how much I pay or I receive? Under Massachusetts law, general term alimony generally can't exceed the recipient's need. We're going to look at that first. Is there a need of the recipient to receive alimony? If there's no need, might not get it, right? And then the second prong is, does the payor, the higher income earning spouse, have the ability to pay alimony after all their expenses and needs are met? Is there something left over? And typically, it's about 30 to 35% of the difference between the two spouses' gross pre-tax incomes, whichever is less usually. It's based on that gap or that delta between those two incomes, not a percentage of everything that one person earns. So that distinction does calm down a lot of people. Alimony isn't a slice of your entire paycheck. It's tied to the difference between what the two of you actually earn. The closer your incomes, the smaller really the alimony picture. In plenty of Massachusetts divorces where both spouses earn similar amounts, there's no alimony at all. One important flag, 2 Massachusetts appeals court decisions, Cavanagh and Openshaw, changed how judges run those numbers when there are also children involved. Judges now have to calculate support using more than one method and compare these results. And in some cases with children, the final number can land differently than the old 30 to 35% picture suggested. If your case involves both child support and alimony, the math is more connected than it used to be. It's a little bit tricky. Don't go this alone. This is why you have experts in the field that can help you with this exact situation. So it was almost midnight when you typed your income into a free alimony calculator online. And the number that came back was $3,200 a month. You barely slept. I get it. What the calculator didn't know was that your case also involved child support. And after these recent changes, the two get figured out together, not separately. Your real number came in far lower. A free calculator doesn't know your whole story, and in Massachusetts, the whole story is part of the math. So, as far as how long somebody needs to pay alimony, I would say that typically for most marriages, general term alimony lasts between like 50 to 80% of the length of the marriage. And that's based on a sliding scale. And then it ends. Only marriages longer than 20 years can qualify for indefinite alimony. And that's not even necessarily a guarantee. So here's the scale. A marriage of 5 years or less, up to half the length of the marriage. 5 to 10 years, up to 60%. 10 to 15 years, up to 70%. 15 to 20, up to 80%. So for that example, a 10-year marriage caps out at around 6 to 7 years of alimony. The court counts the number of actual months, not rounded years. So a marriage of 9 years and 11 months sits in that 60% tier. 10 years and 1 month jumps into that 70%. That 1 month difference can mean years of difference and in what you pay potentially. There are also natural end points. So alimony generally ends if the recipient remarries. It can be reduced or stopped if they live with a new partner for at least 3 continuous months as well. And it generally just ends no matter what when that paying spouse receives a or reaches Social Security retirement age. Okay, so you watched your dad pay alimony until the day he died in 1994. And you assumed that same sentence was waiting for you. But the law changed in 2012. Your marriage lasted 12 years, which capped your payments at about 8. And hitting your full retirement age gave you a way to end it even sooner. So the fear that your father lived with was real once. It just isn't the law in Massachusetts anymore. So, what's the biggest mistake people make with alimony? The biggest mistake is treating alimony as a guess instead of a formula, either agreeing to a number out of fear or assuming an online calculator just got it right. Alimony is fact specific. Most things are, and small details about your income and your length of the marriage can actually change the outcome significantly. So the people who get hurt are usually the ones who act on emotion instead of information. Listen, I know it's easy to do. Someone agrees to pay more than the law would ever require just to make the conflict end. Someone else assumes they'll get a certain amount, builds their whole budget around it, and is blindsided when that number comes in lower. The other common mistake is forgetting that alimony and child support are connected potentially after that 2025 change. If you negotiate one without understanding the other, you can end up with a deal that looks fine on paper, but falls apart, in real life practice. The fix is simple. Know what your actual numbers are before you agree to anything. So you signed the agreement on a Tuesday, just to be done with it. You were exhausted. You wanted the fight to stop, and you agreed to $2,800 a month, a number nobody had ever checked with the law. 2 years later, you learned you'd been overpaying by nearly $700 every single month, money you couldn't get back. Ending the conflict felt like winning. I get that. But knowing that number first is what actually protects you and helps you make those informed decisions. We need to get you that information before you execute on decisions that could be harmful to you. So here's what I want you to walk away with. Alimony in Massachusetts is structured. It's usually time limited, and it's tied to real factors, the length of the marriage and the gap between your incomes. It's not the open-ended life sentence that people fear, and for many couples, it doesn't even come into play at all. People come through this and rebuild every single day. You really can too. You can. And you don't have to figure out the numbers alone. If you want to go over your specific situation before you agree to anything, just visit our website and schedule a consultation. We will tell you exactly where you stand. The website is also in the description. And if you have any questions about your own situation, drop them in the comments below. I really do read every one of them. And please follow the channel on more Massachusetts family law and estate planning questions, tips, and insights. I'm attorney Lindsey Egan, and I am here to help you.